Welcome to day 284 of our DeSo journey. I'm Ed Krasenstein here with my twin brother Brian, and we're both back in our offices today for the first time in a little over a week. Feels good to be home, right?
Yeah, it was really cold. It was like -5 when I left. It's 75 here, so it definitely feels good to be back.
Yeah, we both had lots of fun and it was a great trip for both of us. Remember, these videos are sponsored by DeSocial World, and today DeSocial World put out a bit of a contest with artist Anastasia Koroshenkik. She's been on the platform for 95 plus days now, and she's a phenomenal artist. So their contest is they created this video of oranges, real oranges slices on a table. But one of them is actually a painting by Koroshenkik of an orange. And if you can decide which one is the fake, the one that's the drawing, you can win up to 4 stars or 4 diamonds. I'm sorry, 4 diamonds. They're going to pick one winner who guesses right to give them 4 diamonds. Just head over to DeSocial World's DeSo account, DiamondApp account, or Anastasia Koroshenkik's DiamondApp account, and you can find the contest over there.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great little contest. DeSocial World, like always, are doing awesome.
So there's some changes that have come to DiamondApp. Do you want to talk a little bit about those, Brian?
Yeah, so I know that there's been some people trying to push forward some changes to DiamondApp that have been kind of being asked for a while now. And Jordan yesterday, I think he was working with Mossified. I think they got together and they pushed out some new changes that have been asked for by the community. One of them is the following. The following feed is now the default tab. Thanks to Tyne for pushing this forward. I know he's been talking a lot about this, but I think that's going to help in users kind of finding other users that they might be interested in. Whereas before they were probably just looking mostly at the hot feed, the same users were probably getting all the recognition. Whereas now you're going to see some more interesting stuff, I think, and in a better way. And I think they've also kind of reordered the way the following feed works, in that it's using an algorithm rather than just the newest posts from your followers. So those posts that of people that you follow that are getting more engagement are going to bubble to the top, just like kind of the hot feed, which is pretty good. I think it's a really good way of kind of helping to make the follow feed a little bit more engaging and useful. Trends are also available on mobile now. So if you wanted to see the top diamond creators, the top coin buys, you can all do that on the mobile app now, as well as on the desktop.
Not mobile app. You mean on on your mobile browser?
The mobile version of the website. So yeah, and then also NFTs. There's been the ability to accept an NFT on DiamondApp, which people were asking for. So I'm glad to see that. And pin posts are now also pinned to the follow feed on DiamondApp. So those are all good changes. I'm sure we're going to see a lot more. I know Alex has been teasing some big things coming, and I'm excited.
Yeah, I think they're pretty significant changes too. There's changes that people have kind of been asking for and wanting. So this morning, Alex Velitas made a post, and then that post seems to have vanished. So I think he deleted it. But so we're a little unsure whether we should be covering what that post consisted of or not. I think we'll go ahead and cover it and then let you guys decide why he deleted it. Maybe he deleted it because some of the content in that post was inaccurate. So be forewarned that maybe there's a reason why this stuff was deleted. But that post read, reflecting on all of today's meetings, and I can't overemphasize how insane the progress and growth is going to be for Q1 for DeSo. In just a few weeks, and then he lists major partnership announcement, epic blog post 1, new dip on an important feature, epic blog post 2, Octane Fund Cohort 1 reveal, the first round of DeSo stages, and more that will be revealed soon. Buckle up. So I don't know why the post was deleted. Maybe some of this won't be coming in the next few weeks. Maybe there were just some issues that he didn't really want to put out yet. So that's why I'm a little conflicted whether we should have shared this or not. But it's exciting, I think.
Yeah, I hope, Alex, I hope we didn't get you in trouble in any way. I'm sure Natter's understanding. But yeah, I think we're going to see a lot. And of course, the Octane Fund announcement of who's getting what and all of that, that's going to be important. But also, I think that you mentioned that there's going to be an integration or a partnership. And we don't know for sure who this is going to be, but if I was to guess, I would say it's Kaleido. Kaleido is created by Ian Ponchev, and it is actually a way for applications to become decentralized applications, or dApps. And Kaleido has been working a lot within the Ethereum ecosystem, allowing applications to kind of become decentralized on the Ethereum blockchain. But gas fees are so crazy on Ethereum that it wouldn't surprise me. Now, this isn't anything official. If Ian was to take Kaleido and bring it over to DeSo, where there are no gas fees, it's made for basically this type of thing. So you can have all these apps coming onto DeSo. That would be huge. I mean, you could have a huge inflow of new applications that are integrating with DeSo thanks to Kaleido. And like I said, I don't know if this is the partnership they're talking about, but it certainly would make sense.
You said bring Kaleido over to DeSo. I think it would be more like bring DeSo into Kaleido. But I did reach out to Ian. I asked him about this. I asked him whether they're integrating DeSo, and what he said, he didn't want to talk too much about it because they're not publicly marketing yet, but he did say, quote unquote, "We've built something that's truly remarkable, and Kaleido will immediately establish itself as one of the highest profile projects on DeSo. But we remain heads down on product/business development for the next few months." And he said, reach out to him again in February or March, and maybe they can talk more about it. So it's exciting. We'll see what materializes from it, but every integration is going to be great.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm just really excited because regardless of if this is the partnership that Alex is talking about or not, this is going to be huge on the platform. And I think we're going to see more of these types of partnerships coming.
I also want to cover a DeSo user named Dillsell. I hope I'm saying that right. DYLSELL made a suggestion and it made a post on DiamondApp why he thinks Twitter is much easier on the eyes than DiamondApp currently is. And after he made this post, Natter actually replied tagging Zordon. So Zordon will see these suggestions and these suggestions by Dillsell. And I'll just outline a few of them. The three that he mentioned was: one, the avatar on Twitter is in line with the post. Number two, Twitter users are better at formatting tweets, such as spacing line breaks, using threads wisely, and stuff like that. And three, Twitter has a zero padding on top and bottom and on the sides of posts. Only lines are separating them. So it kind of condenses things so you can see more posts in less screen space. What do you think, Brian? Do you think he's onto something? Do you think that's why Twitter is easier in the eyes?
Well, yeah, I think user interface is super important. And I actually like DiamondApp. I think that it's pretty straightforward, but there's always room for improvement. And to take Twitter and say, hey, maybe we should be doing something like this isn't kind of something that should be out of the question, because Twitter is a success. They have hundreds of millions of monthly active users. So I would like to see, I mean, whether you're looking at Twitter or Facebook or these other types of social applications, I think it's good to take cues from them. Something that he mentioned was the fact that Twitter users are better at formatting posts, and I think that is true. And if you watch any of Ed and I's posts, if you follow our feed, you'll see that we try to format things pretty clearly, and we do that with a lot of like line breaks. We do that with bullet points. We use emojis as bullet points sometimes, and it kind of breaks things up and makes things easier on the eye and more shareable in my mind. So it just takes some time to figure out what works and what doesn't. Whether you look at tweets and say, hey, maybe we should be formatting things like this or not, I don't know. Every social app's a little bit different.
Yeah, so just thanks DeSo for making that post, and hopefully Zordon reads it and maybe make some changes to make it easier on our eyes. So community events. Yesterday, the DeSo account posted the official dates for the upcoming community events, and it seems like Wednesdays are going to be the hot day of the week. So we're going to start this Wednesday, which is tomorrow, January 5th, with the first DeSo community event held on Chime In. So that's Yazin's app that has now gotten funded. I was talking to Yazin yesterday and they received a developer grant. So that's exciting, great for them. And then next week on the 12th, we're gonna have the Natter Town Hall, which is gonna be on Discord. And I'm sure everybody's gonna be super excited about that. And you wanna talk about the next two events, Brian?
Yeah, then after that on January 19th, they're gonna have another one of the community hangouts and Chime In. And then right after that, or I don't want to say right after that, but the following week on January 26th at 10 a.m. Pacific time, which is 1 p.m. Eastern, there's going to be an update with Alex on Chime In. And I like that they're using Chime In, bringing people to the Chime In node or whatever you want, I guess, app. And I think that if we want to get people excited about DeSo, you need to have these native apps like Chime In. So instead of going to Clubhouse or Discord, you can go to Chime In. If you maybe eventually be able to do native features like diamonding and unliking and all of that. So I'm excited about that. I think that this is a great rundown for the first month of this DeSo schedule, the community event schedule. I mean, every week there's something. So I think the community outreach is drastically improving.
Yeah, and I was talking to Yazin and he said, right now, there's no mobile app for Chime In, but it works perfectly fine on your mobile browser. So you can use it on mobile, you can use it on desktop, you can still talk to others in the DeSo community through it, just like Clubhouse, but it's DeSo native. So I'm super excited for that. Super excited for Chime In and Yazin and all these community events. So let's move on. On GitHub yesterday, Patern, who has been working on a messaging system for those who have been following these videos, gave a little bit of a hint as to what we may be seeing soon. He made a post saying he's working on updating the messaging protocol further to support the group chat functionality. And Tyne found this, he made a post about it. So thanks to Tyne for discovering this. I think group chat's gonna be amazing on DeSo.
Yeah, I mean, I use Telegram like nonstop all day. And I would love to be able to use a native DeSo application for the same purpose. But there's nothing out there right now, and there's no real capability to do that right now. So this could be huge for the platform. I know I would love to use something that's native to DeSo for most of my communication.
Yeah, and I mean, we don't know for sure if it's going to be a standalone app or they're just going to enable group chat within the current DiamondApp like messaging system. We'll have to wait and see. I think ultimately we will see an app like Telegram developed on top of DeSo, though.
Yeah, I think you just need to have as long as the framework's there, then some third party can come out and use that framework to develop an application like Telegram or WhatsApp or whatever.
For sure. Also yesterday, Thorsten posted about a creation of his. Thorsten's a great developer on DeSo. He puts out so many different projects, unique projects. And yesterday he made a post about DeSo App Link. And what DeSo App Link does, it allows you to select your favorite node. So if you like DiamondApp, or if you like BitCloud, or if you like Tyne's node, or if you like DeSocial World, you can create that as your favorite. And then when people post links, instead of posting a link diamondapp.com / and then all this stuff that comes after the / you replace diamondapp.com with desoapp.link. And the same goes for BitCloud. You replace bitcloud.com with desoapp.link. And then when you share that link with a desoapp.link URL in the domain in the URL, when people click that, they're going to be automatically be directed to the DeSo node that they prefer. So, if I create a link and put desoapp.link in and I post that URL and you click on it, Brian, and you have your settings as Tines node as your favorite node, it would show you that post on Tines node, which is a cool idea. I really think it's something that's needed, and especially as more and more nodes come onto the platform.
Well, yeah, and I think it gets rid of some of the confusion, because some people might not understand, hey, this is actually a DeSo node when they're seeing a post, and especially for new users. So I like this. I like the innovation here. Good job, Thorsten. I know he does a ton of work on DeSo, always thinking outside the box.
Yeah, and also yesterday, Olivia Ozu on DeSo, he made a GitHub post about something that he really suggests is needed: NFT licenses, and the ability for creators to include licenses when they mint NFTs. And this is going to be especially important as use cases for NFTs evolve on DeSo. And the way it would work would be that you would be able to select a certain license when you mint it, or upload, or link to, I should say, link to, not upload, your own license for your creation. And then, like if I'm an artist and I create, like, let's say Bad Santa NFTs, and I want to include a license saying you're allowed to use these Bad Santa NFTs on products, and you can sell those products. Or maybe I want you to be able to create products, but you can't sell them. So there's different licenses that can be attributed to individual NFTs. And I think it's needed. What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, of course, stuff like this is needed, especially when there's scams popping up left and right. I know we dealt with some scammers posting copied NFTs on NFTZ the other day. So yeah, I mean, license stuff like this is important to the ecosystem for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think these licenses are more along the lines of what rights you're giving the person who buys your NFTs, like what usage rights they get. And that, I think it's really important, because you want to know if you're going to piss the artist off, or, maybe cross a legal boundary by using that NFT that you own, that you purchased for something else, like generating profit. So I think it's something that's needed. Olivie suggested it be on chain. I think on chain is the best solution, but maybe it can be off chain too. And it's something we've discussed with NFTZ as well, maybe including licensed opportunities or license selection opportunities on NFTZ. But then it becomes off chain, and then they won't show on other nodes, which you kind of run into some other problems. So I know we have so much to talk about today. This is going on and on, but yesterday, Joe Rogan led a movement. You want to talk about that, Brian?
Yeah, so Joe Rogan was upset because a doctor that he, I guess, is fond of was banned from Twitter for posting some information that they consider misinformation about COVID. Also, Marjorie Taylor Greene, politician here in the United States, was also banned for posting what Twitter considered to be misinformation regarding COVID. So he decided that he's going to go to Getter, which is another Twitter kind of clone that was created shortly after President Trump was banned from Twitter a couple years ago. And he pointed out that he's going over there. He doesn't like the way Twitter is policing things. He likes free speech, but I'm not really sure if that's the best node, the best application to use. I mean, the same thing can happen, right, Ed?
Yeah, well, I mean, Twitter's run by a former Trump associate, and it's heavily on the
Getter,
side.
not Twitter. You said Twitter.
Well, Getter, I'm sorry. Getter is run by a former Trump associate, and it's super conservatives, and they have in their terms of service that they can delete posts for any reason they want. I'll just read a little bit of what I found in their terms of service. We reserve the right in our sole discretion to reject, refuse to post, or remove any posting or other UGC, including private messages from you, or to deny, restrict, suspend, or terminate access to any or to all or any part of the interactive community at any time for any or no reason. For any or no reason, without prior notice or explanation, and without liability. Getter, in its sole discretion, without advance notice or liability, may immediately suspend or terminate the availability of the service and or content and any elements and features of them in whole or in part for any reason in Getter's sole discretion and without advance notice or liability. So, I mean, there's nothing stopping them. You know, what if they don't like something that somebody's posting? They can delete it. So I think the only way that Getter could really truly be a freedom of speech platform is if they were to be built on top of the DeSo blockchain. Then, you know, they could delete stuff that they don't like, but the content remains on the blockchain for somebody else to still view or create their own node and still show that content. So there's been a lot of talk on the Discord, the DeSo Discord, about contacting Joe Rogan and telling him this, telling him, you know, why don't you support DeSo where stuff's really decentralized, where freedom of speech is 100% out there and everybody can have freedom of speech. So again, maybe people want to reach out to Joe Rogan. He has a website, he has a podcast. Maybe suggest that Natter go on his podcast. There's this place on his site where you can suggest guests for a show. And I think Natter would be the perfect guest for a show to talk about DeSo.
Yeah, you can't blame Getter for having this terms of service. Every company needs to protect themselves from a legal standpoint. And I think it's like comparing apples to oranges when you compare traditional social platforms, social media platforms like Getter, like Twitter, like Facebook to DeSo. It's totally different because DeSo, each node can operate just like Getter or Twitter does, in that they decide what should stay, what should go. They have to protect their own interests via liabilities and whatever legal boundaries they have to stay within. But there's that underlying blockchain, which is that database that feeds into all these nodes. And that is absolutely uncensored. I mean, you can post anything, it will always be on that blockchain, and any node can pull it up or block it. So I think that what people aren't realizing is that these traditional social media platforms do not have a solution, whereas DeSo does have a solution. And whether you like the fact that Twitter's banning people and blocking people that might be sharing misinformation or not, it doesn't matter, because if you did that on DeSo, you can just go to another node and maybe another node will pull up, or maybe every node would say, hey, this definitely doesn't belong here. In the case of, I mean, I could think of several things that every node would say this doesn't belong here. Illegal content, for instance. But at the same time, it's at their discretion, and the blockchain is always there for others to pull up. And even if there isn't a node that pulls it up, you could create your own node and still access that data from that blockchain. So I think it's definitely interesting discussion, and I would love to hear what Joe Rogan would think about something like DeSo.
Yeah, you know, I think all these platforms are trying to get away from Twitter, but they're building on Web 2, which means they're the same as Twitter. You know, you can say you're for freedom of speech and you're going to give people more freedoms, but in the end, you have to protect yourself legally. And, you know, there's Getter, there's Gab, there's Parler. Those are three right-leaning conservative sites that kind of try to break away from Twitter and pull some conservatives onto their platform with the moniker that they're for freedom of speech. But as long as they're built on Web 2, they can't be completely for freedom of speech. And I just want to, before we close this out, I want to just mention the Clubhouse rooms today. There's two of them, the State of Decentralized Social with DOZ and Rhubarb at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and then DeSo, Decentralized Social and More Than Just BitClout with Alex Damsker and Annie Ackley at 1 p.m. Eastern Time today. So check out those Clubhouse rooms. We'll try and attend them. And I think it's been a great day, a lot of news. I know this video went really long, and we'll talk to everybody tomorrow.